So, I just watched the fucking Roman Reigns promo reacting to Punk basically destroying him in that worked interview with Corey Graves, which, by the way, if you watch that video, Corey Graves has like a giant hair on his shirt or on his suit or whatever, and it's like really distracting. Uh, but yeah, Punk really goes in on him about basically everything that he's kind of already touched upon, but like a lot of the stuff that people have been saying about him for years before the Tribal Chief era. He's overpushed by management. He was, a Nepo baby, given multiple opportunities that he really didn't earn. And quite frankly failed, as Punk said, and Roman did fail to deliver as a babyface that people wanted to cheer for. And then they finally turned him heel, like everybody had been saying, and then surrounded him with, a big faction. They gave him Paul Heyman. They give him, who I also think Paul Heyman is a bit overrated, but that's an opinion for another time. They introduced Sami Zayn into the storyline. And they give him pretty much everybody on the roster and feed it to Roman. And, surprisingly, his heel run gets over. And, it's one of these things where I see people say it's one of the greatest runs of all time, and really don't know if I can agree with that. I liked it. I really did like it. It was the hottest thing going on in wrestling. But that's also because wrestling has not been very good for like 2 decades now. So it's not really, a very high bar, So I guess you can say, yeah, in the history, it's one of the better acts, one of the best acts out of like 25, maybe 50. I don't know. I really, here's the thing. I think it overstayed its welcome. I think it did a lot of damage to guys like Kevin Owens and guys like Finn Balor. And, Drew also kind of didn't recover from it, because I think Drew really was on a status where, I think he could have believably taken off the title from Roman, and they didn't go that way, and I think Drew really just kind of fell down from the card. And from relevancy until he had that heel turn and has developed this heel character. But even then, he still hasn't felt quite as important as he did in the early part of the 2020s. And especially when he was about to face Roman, going into Bash of Berlin or whatever the fuck it was, or I think it was Bash in Berlin. Or Clash in Berlin. There's so many fucking Bash, Clash. They're all the same fucking names. When he was going into that, he really did have this aura of I'm going to be the one to beat Roman. I'm going to be the one to take down the big bad guy. And then they just had another cheap screwjob ending, and I remember being so fucking pissed about that. And, eventually, I think what we got with Cody was better. But we had to sit through the second half of Roman's title reign, and it was just really not interesting. He wasn't there a lot. A lot of repeat segments. Oh, and LA Knight, by the way, his aura definitely went down. He had to take an unnecessary loss to Roman. But, I think really the only people who benefited from Roman's title reign are Roman himself, Roman's family, and Cody. I don't think anybody else really had anything or got anything out of basically getting beaten by Roman. Everybody got beaten by Roman. So, I don't think anybody really got anything out of it besides Cody and his family. So it's really, please name me somebody who actually came out better from working with heel Roman besides the people I've named. But anyway, Roman cuts this promo, and he's he's in the car, and I gotta tell you, I was not really that big of a fan of it. He breaks kayfabe pretty much the entire promo while trying to pretend he's not, trying to keep it in the lines of like, oh, this is a fight. But he's basically saying that CM Punk's a fake tough guy because he got his ass beat in the UFC. He's not a real fighter, which is like, well, you're a wrestler too, you fucking idiot, and you're going to have a competitive match with him at WrestleMania because it's the main event, so obviously the match is going to be like 25 minutes long, so what does that make you? If Punk's not a tough guy, and you go in and have a match with him that's competitive, then what the fuck does that make you? Like, this is why I hate when people bring up the UFC line. And when MJF did it, I remember seeing the same fucking Roman marks complain about it and being like, this breaks kayfabe, and now they're all fucking sucking Roman's ass. And people are like, there was a video that I just saw from some guy, and he was like, oh, Roman, people are saying he's washed, and I don't really believe it. I think he's one of the greatest wrestlers probably of all time. And I was like, yeah, okay, like, why? Really, why? And because what? He had that one heel run after having probably the worst top babyface run of all time, if not one of the worst. And because he has a great heel run, he's now going to be named as one of the greatest of all time, the greatest to ever do it. Fuck you, bro. I'm like so sick of that narrative. But he's, reading some fan comment about how Roman is washed, and he tries to debunk it and say it's all creative. And I will agree, creative has fucking not done Roman or a lot of people any favors. But, I mean, his promos just haven't been all that great. And the promo that he cuts in the car is like, it's just like, he's got to curse, he's got to basically do all these handicaps. He has to use, what's it called? Like a crutch. He has to use the terminology like smarks and fucking, oh yeah, and this is why we don't let marks in the business and blah, blah, blah. And, using all that shit and talking about how CM Punk's a fake tough guy and breaking kayfabe and saying that if they, people will just look at us and they'll realize that you could never be on my level, which is basically saying, in real life, I'd win, which isn't even true because Punk was trained in MMA on a competitive level. Even if he got the shit kicked out of him, he's probably above you. You know what I mean? Because he's like this, he's around the same height as Roman, and he knows martial arts. As far as I know, I don't think Roman ever trained for the UFC. So it's like this whole narrative that Roman is trying to push in the promo isn't even real. It just really didn't. It wasn't a great promo, but people are sucking up to him and saying it was amazing and it was so great, and it's just. I'm really tired of it because it's like this guy might be one of the most overrated wrestlers of all time. And I like Roman, but I have been like becoming so resentful of him because I feel like everything Punk is saying is really true about Roman. And I agree with most of what Punk is saying, and Roman really hasn't been able to refute any of it. And even in this promo, it just feels like a desperation, like, oh, I'm going to curse, I'm going to bring up marks and stuff, just to, like, make it seem like they're, they're really taking shots at each other. But really, Punk has buried him most of this storyline. And the best line that's been delivered on Punk was made by Pat McAfee. Pat McAfee really crushed CM Punk when he said, does he really care about the fans not being able to afford WrestleMania tickets? Do you think he takes all those TKO checks and puts them in an account for sad wrestling fans? Or do you think it goes to an account labeled, I'm sorry, Saudi Arabia? Like, that was probably better than any line that Roman has had on Punk during this entire build. Hell, during the past 2 WrestleMania builds. I mean, people forget these two had a match last year in a triple threat match, and Roman didn't say really anything. You know what I mean? Punk really didn't say anything in that feud either. Like, like, people give Seth shit a lot, and I gave Seth shit a lot, but you know what? He was the only one actually cutting captivating promos in that feud, and he actually made me like him because of that feud. And then they fucking booked the Vision to shit, so there's that. Yeah, I'm really tired of the Roman glaze. It's really, a lot of it is not based in reality. A lot of it feels like WWE has successfully gaslit people into believing what they always wanted everybody to believe, which is like Roman is the greatest. But like, I just don't buy it, and I'm never gonna buy it, and I'm never gonna buy into it. He's done nothing that proves to me that he is the GOAT. And I really, like, if you to look at the top faces of WWE of all time, he is going to rank last, in my opinion. And maybe, Cody's below him. Maybe, I don't know. If that's your opinion, that's fine, but Roman, to me, is overrated.